Mac. What's going on, YouTube? My name is FG3000. I'm back in the place to be, and welcome to the Elder Scrolls Blades, the highly anticipated Elder Scrolls spinoff brought to you by Bethesda. This game is now currently in early access. However, you do not have to worry about your progress being wiped. So for all intents and purposes, this game is basically live at this point. So let's go ahead and jump into the game and kind of see what it's all about. As you guys can see, I have a female Redguard as my main character, but all of the iconic Elder Scrolls races are represented here. So if you have like a favorite race, sex, hairstyle, tattoo combo, you should be able to recreate that here in the Elder Scrolls Blades. So here is where your journey will begin, and all players will basically start off in this rundown town that's still basically on fire and still smoking. But this lays the foundation of the overall gameplay loop of the Elder Scrolls Blades, and I'll kind of represent that by using this node as an example. So if I want to build a house on this node, basically what I need to go find myself some lumber, limestone, copper. I need 6 real-life hours as well as gold. Once I build that house on that plot, my overall town will gain prestige. Basically, the higher the prestige of my town, the more access to different structures I can build, which basically leads to the very next question. How do you get those resources, FG, in order to build your town? Well, the Elder Scrolls Blades is not like an open world survival game, so you're not going to go out into the real world and mine resources and knock down trees, even though that actually sounds pretty cool. No, not in this game. In order to build up your town, which I have called the Waifu Bungalow, I don't know why I called it the Waifu Bungalow, because Elder Scrolls notoriously does not have waifus. But in order to build that up, you need to go steal resources from goblins and bandits across the world. So pretty easy, and you don't really have to walk around. You can basically open up your quest log and say, you know what? I want to go to this mission right here, Bounty Hunter Bandits. This one will reward me with lumber, which is exactly what I need. So let's go ahead and start this mission and get it on. So the quest condition here is basically defeat 6 bandits. So once I defeat 6 bandits, I'm done. I can leave this quest. There's no type of like exploration, completion, or anything like that. Kill 6 bandits and you're good to go. Now, right off the bat, this game feels like an Elder Scrolls game. And I do like the dungeon and cave layouts, and there is a good variety of different biomes in this game. So right off the bat, they're doing pretty good. We're gonna jump into combat here. So let's kind of hold that for a second. Now here in combat, I can hold the left side of my screen to have my shield up. As you guys can see, I also have special attacks, so I do have magicka attacks there, so I have a fireball that I can cast. I have a special attack here that uses stamina. Pretty straightforward there. Go ahead and grab those resources. Thank you very much. Just like in pure Elder Scrolls fashion, I can beat up on urns and get resources out of that. If I'm feeling a little low on HP, I can grab carrots and different types of food, because who doesn't want to grab random food that's just laying around and eat it? Like that's what I always do. So that's kind of that. I highly recommend playing this game in landscape mode because it just functions a little bit better. Here's a skeever right here. In order to hit a skeever, you have to wait for it to lunge at you first. So some, enemies do have different types of things that you have to do in order to fight them. Some enemies do have weaknesses. So once again, in pure Elder Scrolls fashion, you want to use like blunt weapons on skeletons as opposed to swords and things of that nature. So all of that is recreated here in the Elder Scrolls Blades. So let's continue on our journey. Here's another skeever. Ah, come on. See, that's what I was talking about. You have to wait until they lunge and wait for them not to clip into the environment. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. All right, let's go ahead and open this up here. Now, overall, I'm actually okay with the combat here. Just because it just feels so Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls has never been a great combat engine ever. So I know a lot of people are kind of complaining about the combat in this game, but I don't actually have a problem with it at all. All right, hold up my shield here. Now, one thing I do have a problem with is the speediness of combat. Now, normally when you play a game like Skyrim, if you do like a sword swipe, right after your sword swipe goes, you can immediately raise your shield. But here in this game, you really kind of can't. Like there's a little delay between you kind of using your shield and going back and forth between your shield and your weapon. So you kind of have to kind of get yourself settled first before you do your next action. So here's a chest. As you guys can see, I got that chest, but you saw nothing on the loot screen. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's keep on going here. We're gonna keep on knocking through these urns. And this, like I said, this feels like an Elder Scrolls dungeon. There's a good variety of biomes as well. And it does the iconic Elder Scrolls thing where you're in a dungeon. It starts off like in a building. Next thing you know, you're in a cave. Next thing you know, you're in some underground lava filled waterfall type of area. Like all of that stuff is recreated here. So I definitely appreciate that. I'm not sure if all of these dungeons are half crafted. They could be half crafted. I don't know if all these dungeons are handcrafted like in the Elder Scrolls Online. If you guys don't know, every single dungeon in ESO is basically handcrafted. There's no algorithm that makes the dungeons. They're not like copy pasted. Every single dungeon in that game is handcrafted. I'm not sure if that's the case here, but so far I've been enjoying the variety of dungeons here in the game. So let's go ahead, and this is gonna be our last bandit here to kill. And the graphics are good, man. I haven't found any emulator to play this game, so I am playing the game on my phone, and it does kind of heat up my phone faster than most games do. As you guys can see, I've now completed all of the bounty hunter deaths that needed to happen there, but I'm gonna continue to explore this dungeon because obviously there's a chest right there in front of me. So if you wanna kind of continue on and kind of find secrets or find other, different resources, you absolutely can. Nothing tells you that you have to leave the dungeon as soon as that quest is over. So we're gonna kind of continue on, and I'll show you kind of what the end of a dungeon looks like. It should be right around here. So here it is. So normally you'll see a door like this. This basically dictates, hey, you made it to the end of the dungeon. You're done. You're done. All you have to do from this point, click complete quest, and that'll take you right back to your main town. And that is the overall gameplay loop. Find a ruin, find a building that you want to build, find what is required to build said building, go inside of a dungeon, beat up a bunch of rats, bandits, and goblins, get those materials, and come back into town and say, you know what? My building is ready. And there it is. I just built this building here in the waifu bungalow. And now my town is level 2. So now I can build an alchemy. I can now build stone buildings if I want to. And now my shops can also be upgraded to level 2. So it's not just about houses as well. You can build things that can help you in combat, like a blacksmith. The blacksmith will allow you to buy different weapons as well as repair your weapons as such. So that's kind of it. That's really the gameplay loop. And now to kind of give you guys my thoughts, we're actually going to jump into the Abyss, so I can show you some more of the different biomes in the game, and we'll talk a little bit more about what you're going to be doing as you play the game. So go ahead and click Abyss, and this will kind of give you a good indication. I'm actually going to start back at floor 1. So this is kind of like an endless tower mode, the iconic endless tower mode from Hero Collectors. Basically, you can keep going down in this dungeon, getting different resources, killing monsters. This is just a really good way to kind of just play the game for an extended session, getting all types of resources as you move along. So, but this will kind of show you how the game kind of traverses through different biomes, which is always a good time. Come on, little skeever. Come on, skeever. So that is that. Right now, the weapon that I'm using is really good for skeevers and goblins and bandits, but you can always change different weapons. So here's my character sheet here. Of course, I'm using this iron sword. I'm wearing iron armor. I don't have any helmets at the moment, but let's say I'm fighting something that I would want to use an axe with. So basically like a tree monster or something like that, a nymph, if you will. I can switch to a hand axe and then use that to do additional damage. Like I said earlier, let's say if I was fighting a skeleton, I would want to use like a blunt weapon. All of those things still apply when it comes to Elder Scrolls type of weaknesses and things of that nature. As you level up, you also have a different skill tree here. So you have a spell skill tree, you have perk skill trees, and you also have stamina ability skill trees. So since I'm a red guard, I'm kind of focusing on stamina skill trees. But like I said, it plays just like most Elder Scrolls games. So if you're like a high elf and you want to kind of specialize in magic and things of that nature, you absolutely can do so. This game also has PvP, which I haven't really bothered with just yet. We'll probably take a look at that in a future video. But that is pretty much the overall gameplay loop here inside the Elder Scrolls Blades. Go inside of a dungeon, get resources, bring resources back, and rebuild your town. Once you've done that, you'll have a bunch of chests to open. And you know how we always have to end these videos off by doing some chest openings. But this chest opening is going to be a little bit different than normal. But as you guys can see, we just like in Elder Scrolls, we're now kind of like in a different biome. We went through this little cave area. It's always a good time. That's always been my favorite part of Elder Scrolls. You never know if it's just going to be like a regular bandit camp or it's going to be like going down to like the depths of hell and things of that nature. It was always cool. Go ahead and block you there. Just use a fireball just for giggles. You can be interrupted as well. So if you try to cast your fireball and you get hit, that'll basically end your casting. So overall, what do I think about the game? Here's the thing. I actually like the dungeon diving. I like the combat, believe it or not. It feels like an Elder Scrolls game. All of that stuff, I'm giving, great FG 3000 marks all the way around. However, rebuilding my town just isn't, to me, that's not I'm actually kind of shocked that they built that as the foundation of this game, because rebuilding that town isn't really super compelling to me. Like, doing these dungeons is fun, but there's nothing that really drives me to go build towns and build dwellings and build houses. Like, I don't have a drive to do that. So I don't know. Once I run a dungeon and once I build one building, I'm pretty much done. Like, I don't feel like playing the game any longer than that. So I think that might be a problem. For me, the game doesn't have that comeback. It doesn't have that, let me keep running, let me keep building. It doesn't have that feeling for me. So, and really, once you've gotten a sword here, once you've gotten an axe, I don't even feel like upgrading my sword or my axe. Like, it's not going to feel any different. Like, a sword is going to be a sword, an axe is going to be an axe. Sure, you know, one axe might have some fire on it or some ice on it, but for all intents and purposes, it's going to swing like any other axe. It's going to kind of function like any other weapon. So, getting stronger, getting better weapons, rebuilding my city, none of that stuff really kind of drives me too much, unfortunately. Look at all these wolves, though. Look at all these wolves. Seeing more dungeons, though, does drive me. So I'm kind of conflicted. I do like seeing these dungeons. I do like seeing these different biomes. Right now I'm fighting black wolves, which I've never fought before, which is always cool. I'm getting absolutely destroyed here. I'm probably going to have to pop a potion. But that's actually a pretty good place for us to stop as far as this is concerned, because I do want to show you the elephant in the room. So we'll go ahead and leave. And like you saw earlier, as far as I can go, let's say I got to like the 10th floor, I can always restart at the 10th floor if I choose to, or I can restart from the beginning. I got some soul gems as well as some frost salts. Once again, pretty iconic Elder Scrolls items there. So let's go back over here to the home screen. So let's talk about opening up some chests here, ladies and gentlemen. So the chest system, as you guys can see. So this game doesn't have stamina, so you can basically kind of play the game all day if you want, but you will run into a point where you do have a limit on your chest. So as you guys can see, I can hold up to 20 chests in my inventory. I can still go into dungeons even though I'm at chest capacity, but there's kind of no point. You definitely want to make sure that you have spaces to kind of hold chests before you do dungeons. You can extend how many chests that you can hold total by using Cash App currency, but just like in most mobile games, you can only open one chest at a time. So even though I have these wooden chests right over here that I would love to open because they're like these little basic chests, can't do it until my golden chest is unlocked here in 5 hours and 46 minutes. So, you know, kind of oh, hold on, everybody. Don't worry about that. So that is kind of that. So I showed you the town mode. I showed you basic dungeon diving. I showed you the abyss. Pretty much the only thing left in this game is going through the arena. And like I said, I'm not really too big in PvP when it comes to games like this, when there's like pay to win type aspects, and you know, most mobile games have pay to win, right? That's not anything new. But PvP is usually not going to be the reason why I stick with a game. It has to have the other features that really kind of compel me to push me forward. And rebuilding this town is just not, it's not super exciting. I might stick with the game though a little bit longer because I do want to see some more of the dungeons. Like the Elder Scrolls dungeon diving still does kind of appeal to me, but everything else, not so much, not so much. As you guys can see, here's this alchemy laboratory that I just unlocked. So I got to go get some more lumber, some more limestone, as well as some more copper in order to build that. Or I can build it using stone. And here is castle style as well. So kind of cool. That part, maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe it will. But like I said, I do struggle with kind of coming back to the game over and over and over. I do have achievements here as well that we're going to go ahead and unlock. There you go. Here's my job board. Let's go fight this plague of skeletons. And that is where we'll end this video. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, my name is FG3000. This has been a very early look at the Elder Scrolls Blades. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep this in my rotation or not. We'll just have to see. So let's take a look here. We got some, look at that. Some God rays kind of showing through. Not bad here. Got some skeevers, of course. Very like rundown castle, as you guys can see. Here are these skeletons. So this is where my sword is going to really kind of suck. And I need to find myself some blunt weapons. But since I'm decently strong, I can kind of get myself through it. But I definitely need to find something to kind of help out on that. Little skeever. Come on out. Come at me. There you go. So that will do it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, I already said that. You already said that, FG. I know. These skeletons are distracting. Let's use my shield bash. You barely could see it. Let's use a fireball on a skeleton. See, there you go. I got interrupted because I was not timing myself very well. So there's that. I feel like I can kill 2 more skeletons before the video's over. The controls are a little wonky, like I said. Highly recommend playing it in landscape mode, but you eventually get used to it, and it works a little better. I'm still getting used to it, clearly. I don't care about that shield. See, right now I'm trying to press my shield, and there's a little bit of a delay there. But that might be because he parried me, which totally makes sense. That totally makes sense, FG. There's a parry. Man, this guy just does not want to go down. You know what? Fine. Fine, fine, fine. All right, all right. Eat some of these random mushrooms because that's what you do. That is what you do. Here's a treasure chest that I'll open in 6 hours, of course. And here's the final skeleton. Let me see. I'm gonna fireball him again. Get shield bashed. Power attacked. Oh, I canceled my own spell there. Nice job, FG. Pro combat. Pro combat. And there you go. 100% complete. If I want to leave, I can, and I will. So there you go. I'm out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.